Hi, I'm Kate Gebby. I'm a licensed professional counselor and the owner of Anchor Wellness LLC. Anchor Wellness is a telehealth practice that works with individuals who are experiencing perinatal mental health symptoms, meaning mental health symptoms that surround pregnancy. I also work with a lot of parents and parenting issues, and that could be parents who are experiencing extreme stress because of a difficult relationship with their child or adolescent. And I also work with a lot of parents who are having difficulty managing their child's behavior. Excuse me. It's the holidays. It's getting chilly out there. The colds are coming around, so I apologize for my sniffles and sort of clearing my throat every once in a while, but we'll get through it. And so the other piece of mental health that I work with is I work with individuals who have experienced trauma, and especially people who have had attachment trauma in their life or adverse childhood experiences. So I wanted to hop on today to talk about how to talk with someone about going to therapy. Now, this is something that for some reason has come up a lot lately. I've had quite a few people reach out in different capacities and say, this person disclosed something to me, or, I'm noticing these really concerning behaviors, and I really want to talk to this person about going to therapy because I think they would benefit, but I just don't know how to do that. So I thought it'd be important to come on here and just talk a little bit about that because it just seems to be a trend. And also I imagine that there are other people out there that are, experiencing similar stuff. So hopefully this is helpful to you. So the thing with talking with someone about going to therapy is that it can be very shaming. As we know, in our society, mental health still has a pretty strong stigma attached to it. So to say to someone, you need to go to therapy, kind of has a negative connotation and can really make someone go defensive really quickly. So when you're speaking with someone that you really care about or are concerned about, it's really important to utilize both your relationship and your own experience and observations in order to have this conversation with them. So what's really important to remember is that if someone has disclosed something to you about their past or something that's going on with them that you probably think would be important to talk about in therapy, one thing that you really should remember is that this person has quite a bit of trust in you in order to share some really deep stuff with you. So it's pretty clear that you have some sort of relationship. And so when you're talking with this person, you want to come at them in a very supportive stance, right? Like, I know that you trust me. I want to make sure that you're getting what you need. I want to do this with you. I want to help you out. This is what I was thinking. And so really holding that piece of, I care about you, and this is not because I think you're crazy or because, there's something wrong with you. It's that I do care. And just holding that piece makes things a lot less shameful and makes people feel, wanted and cared about and held a little bit. So really utilizing that language is helpful when you're having that conversation. So the other piece of this is that you want to use your own experiences and your own observations when you're talking with somebody about going to therapy, and sort of like if you see something concerning or if you hear something concerning, that's what you're using. So instead of, and doing it again in a non-shameful way, in a sort of a supportive way. So instead of saying something like, you just kind of like went off the deep end, last week, and you really need to do something about that. I think instead of saying that, you might say something like, when you got really angry so quickly the other day, that really worried me. And I wonder if there's somebody that you should talk to about that. And really taking, again, right, I utilized a relationship in saying that, and also like, this is what I observed, and it's a specific example of what I observed. This person got angry really quickly, and I got worried. I didn't get angry, I didn't get upset, I didn't get mad at this person, I didn't push them away, I got worried. And so I want to put forward that support and say, like, I need to set my own boundary because I don't know that I can hold this, but I want to just let you know that I care about you and maybe this is something that you should do. So, if you do that, just be prepared that you might not get this lovely response of, that's a good idea, I should go to therapy. More than likely, you're going to get an angry response. Understand that that is not personal to you. That's not somebody saying, like, you're a bad friend or you're a terrible sister or mother or, whatever. This is not them saying, like, I hate you for this. What they're experiencing are feelings of shame, feelings probably of guilt too, right? Like, yep, I know that happened. That really sucked. Probably they've thought about it a little bit. And so they're going to have a little bit of that come out at you, and you're going to end up being the one who's going to catch some of it just because you're the one having the conversation. So in those moments where you're getting maybe a response that's not what you were hoping for, that's not this lovely, let's skip off into the sunset and go find a therapist together, you're probably going to guess you might get yelled at. Just keep in mind, this is not personal to you. They're not, they might say things like, I hate you, or I'm mad at you, or I'm angry with you, and how could you say that to me, or, whatever, but really and truly, it's not about you. It's about they're starting to reflect on maybe what happened and maybe starting to think about, oh, this might be an issue, and it just feels gross to them right now. And so when you're receiving that, it's really important to remain supportive, and you have to be able to be prepared to not get defensive. It's very easy to fall into the trap of, like, when someone gets angry at you or comes at you in that way, you're going to get defensive. You're going to protect yourself. In these conversations, you want to make sure you're just repeatedly, supporting them and saying, like, and being unwavering in that support, right? And saying, no, this is just that I'm worried about you. And it's okay that you're angry with me. I get it. But I just want you to know this is coming from a place of love, or a place of concern for you, and this is not about, like, I think you're a bad person or anything like that. So just remembering that this is not going to be something it might get directed at you, but it's not truly about you. So the last thing that you have to remember is that you might have this conversation with someone. It may feel very obvious to you or very clear to you that the person would benefit from therapy, but ultimately it has to be their decision. It has to be, that person has to be ready to start confronting some things that they might want to work on. They might not be there yet, and so, that's going to have to be okay. You have to be okay with that. You have to just let them make their own decision. If you've had the conversation and no moves are made yet, that's not your fault because you had the conversation poorly. And it's not their fault because they didn't go. It's just, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to really be okay with, I'm about to be very, very vulnerable with somebody that I don't know, and that feels really scary. Or I have to confront something that brings up a lot of huge feelings for me, and that feels really scary. And so just remember that it may take some time, it may take some chipping away, but I think ultimately the best thing that you can do is to continue to be that supportive, trusting person that you are, as long as that falls within your boundaries. You don't want to feel like, you're doing too much for them either. If you're starting to feel like this is, I don't know that I can hold this, then you're going to have to set your own boundaries. But if you can continue to be that trusting support for this person, then chances are down the road they'll start to feel like, okay, maybe this is something, that I need to do, or, start considering how to handle things differently. So that's all I have. I just wanted to quickly address that. I thought that that's a really important topic that a lot of people run into, myself included. I've run into this with my loved ones, definitely not in a professional capacity. And so I'm speaking about this as a therapist, but when you go through it personally, it's so different, and a lot of feelings come up for you when you're doing this. So that's why I keep saying, you remember that you are the support. When they're yelling at you, it's not your fault, and just you have to really prepare yourself for that. So I hope this was helpful. feel free to ask me any questions if there's something that I didn't answer, if there's, maybe other pieces that I kind of just glazed over or you need clarification on. Yeah, happy holidays, everybody.